Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Universal Journeys YouTube show. I said YouTube this time, not radio. A plus for me. Follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. That is our mantra. And we try to do a lot of videos. As you can tell, I've already diverted from the introduction. We try to do a lot of videos centered around creating awareness and helping spread acceptance with regard to a variety of different identities. And I mean, our primary is spirituality, but we like to veer into different regions as well. And this is one that both of us are super passionate about because we know such amazingly phenomenal people within this community, the autistic community. And since this month is labeled, quote unquote, Autism Awareness Month, we decided that we would do a show and invite people who are on the autistic spectrum to speak with us about their identities in order to help create acceptance as opposed to simply just awareness. Because there's a lot of misrepresentation and misinterpretation in our society with regard to autistic people. And I think that's something that we need to draw attention to because inadvertently, while a lot of groups like Cough, Autism Speaks Cough, are trying to advocate for autistic people, they are, in essence, silencing them, which is not helping them whatsoever. It's not listening to their voices, it's not allowing them to communicate their feelings for themselves. So, this is our show for that. It's called Autism as an Identity because it is an identity. People definitely do identify as that and value that as a part of themselves. So tonight, of course, we have Dr. Brenda. Hello, Brenda, dear.
Hello, everyone.
And we have my dear Tiffany Gray, who is a musician and activist here on YouTube. Hello, Tiffany.
Hey guys.
And we do have Cindy, who is in the chat log, who will be discussing with us as well. And she is also another YouTube musician and activist. So, yay, welcome to the show, everyone. Okay, so, first and foremost, Tiffany, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your identity?
Well, obviously my name is Tiffany and I'm autistic. I have Asperger's syndrome, but I just tell people that I'm autistic now. It's easier. And I really love to sing, and I also love to write, and I'm a huge, huge fan of Celtic Woman. And I'm also visually impaired, which definitely makes autism a little more challenging for me. But I don't let my disabilities stop me from chasing my dreams and being who I am, which is a complete goofball.
And I love it. And see, you know, that one statement that you made was very interesting because you flat out said that you don't let your disabilities prevent you from being who you are or doing what you want to do. And I really think that that is what groups like Autism Speaks, for example, they try to do. They try to silence autistic people in a way by saying that they are damaged or diseased individuals, when in all actuality it's a part of them. And by labeling them as damaged or diseased, that completely subverts them in every way and basically invalidates them, which is definitely not cool.
Yeah, it's insulting to me.
Mm-hmm. And you actually recently just made a video, a cover of Lady Gaga's "Till It Happens to You," which is one of my favorite songs in the universe, and basically kind of speaking out against Autism Speaks. And do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I actually wrote those note cards from one of Cindy's videos, Autism Speaks is the Enemy. I found those words like totally accurate, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use those words in this video. And I made sure I credited her too because, that's the right thing to do. And plus, I mean, those words are just amazing. And it took me forever to make that video because I'm sitting there thinking, do I want to do note cards or do I want to use my dry erase board? My camera kept dying on me. And then I'm like, no, I'm just going to use regular sheets of paper so people can read it more easily, and I'm going to do it with the recording of me singing "Till It Happens to You" because I thought that was perfect. Because people don't know what we go through unless they experience it for themselves, and I really think that it's unfair that Autism Speaks is trying to silence us and take away our voices because we're not inmates, we're not animals, we're people, we're not diseased or epidemics. We have feelings and we have voices and we have dreams and we deserve a lot better.
Exactly. Well said, Tiffany. That was excellent. Um, Brenda, have you had any experience? Have you seen any of Autism Speaks stuff on Facebook anywhere?
I have not. I mean, I've heard about what you guys have been saying and talking about and things like that. And my experience with autism, period, is with a few young ladies, Tiffany and Cindy, on the Universal Journeys particular programs, so the radio programs, but also with our friend, Deb DeRoos, who has, I believe, three autistic children. And yes, there are some things that the autistic individual, Tiffany, I'm just saying that that's this way. Uh, they have certain things that is set up for them, and if anything kind of messes with that, then and I do the same thing sometimes. I go crazy, like I can't do this type of deal. And it really does, affect them. I mean, when Tiffany and Cindy both came on to the Universal Journeys radio show, they brought awareness about certain aspects that I had no idea. And I think this is an awesome cause that needs to be out there with Autistic Speaks or Autism Speaks or whatever that particular program is. I think they're doing an injustice to our young people, to all autistic people, because they don't get it. They do not get it. They're out there to make money. They're not out there to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They don't care about us.
Yeah, a huge problem with Autism Speaks is that they only pander to one group of people, and those people are the parents who feel as though their autistic child is a hindrance on them in some way. And I think that is so sad. Like, to have a parent to think that about their child, like, it just pains me sometimes. However, this is why we are trying to do things like this to create, I mean, in a way, it is creating awareness, but it's also creating acceptance. Awareness, I think, that information, putting that out there, is the first step in order to finding that type of acceptance because without learning, people don't learn how to accept things. And yeah, I totally lost my train of thought.
well, the thing is with Deb, now Deb, like I said, she has, I believe, three autistic children. And she had to go through the process of learning what her children were doing, why they were doing such things, and trying to help that. She does a wonderful job. She listens, and that's the thing. She listens, she observes, and she tries to make it better. She tries to help them to excel. And most of the time what happens with parents like that, or a lot of times that happens with parents like that, is they're like, I'm not taking the time. They should be normal, and we need to move on. And this is like a disease. I'm sorry to say, this is not a disease, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they were born with. Like, we all are born with some sort of thing that we do. But instead of shoving them to the wayside and saying, okay, we don't want anything to do with these young people or these people, we should sit down and try to understand them, because I'm telling you, there's aspects with these young people that need to be brought to the forefront so they can excel, with what they're doing and how they're doing them. So I say kudos both to Tiffany and Cindy for getting out here and doing what they do the best, and to bring awareness of this particular cause. So kudos, girls.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. So, Tiffany, if you had any advice to give to allies of the autistic community, what would you tell them?
I would tell them you need to get to know us better. You need to listen to us, and really hear what we're saying and try to put yourselves in our shoes, and don't try to fix us because we're not broken. Just try to be there for us and just accept us and love us the way we are, and you'd be surprised what happens. You know, it would make us all very, very happy. Just love
Hmm.
us.
Yeah. And Cindy, if you can hear this, if you could share your thoughts in the comments section, that would be excellent too. So, what would you suggest to allies of the autistic community with regard to being an ally? So, and I think this is probably one of the biggest problems with people who ally themselves with autistic people is we feel the need to overspeak autistic people and we in doing so in a way treat them like they are unable to speak for themselves, which is really it's not right. Um, and another like the thing is we need to realize that they do have their own autonomy. They do have their own voices. They do have their own modes of expression. Okay. Now, I guess my biggest realization was being taught that I can speak with autistic people, but I cannot speak for autistic people. And that's what I want a lot of other allies to know too. It's like speak with them, support them, but don't overspeak them. And that's been a very valuable lesson for me. Okay. Cindy, I can see you. By the way, I can see you, but I cannot hear you. But I can see the chat log.
Yes.
Okay, so Cindy says that I'm not a broken person. Okay, and that is a very important thing for people to know as well because, again, a lot of people treat autistic people as though they are broken individuals. Okay, so it says that. Okay, Brenda, could you check and see if Cindy? I don't know if you're able to see if she's muted.
I can't tell if she's muted.
Okay, let me see here.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. Let's try that. No, now she's muted. Now let me unmute her.
Okay, did you unmute her yet?
Yep. Cindy, can you hear us? I'm hearing an echo.
Okay, it sounds like she can hear us, but I don't think we can hear her.
Couldn't hear
Anyway,
her. Right.
so and here and also like to try to initiate conversation with autistic people as well because I know a lot of autistic people get frustrated with allies as well because sometimes we don't always understand, and I mean we can't fully understand because I mean we can't experience those same experiences. So my biggest thing that I would like to present to autistic people is help teach us, okay? And this is why I love Cindy and Tiffany so much is because they do a phenomenal job teaching us the importance and the intricacies of what it's like being autistic. Cindy also says, whoops, I just accidentally clicked off the thing here.
She
Cindy
says, go ahead.
I was going to say, she says that what I hate are people that try to tell me I'm wrong and they think they know my own brain better than I do. And she's like, nope, that's not how it works. And I totally agree with you.
I
That
can.
really irritates me when people do that to me.
Yeah, have you had people do that to you often, Tiffany?
Yeah, people think they know what's going on in my mind, and they think they know the solution on how to deal with it. And it's frustrating because then when I try to come back and tell them no, this is how it is,
Hmm.
I almost feel like I'm not being taken seriously.
Yeah. And I feel like that, I mean, if I were in your shoes, I mean, I've not been taken seriously before and it really upsets me. But if I were taken seriously on a level like that, I would be devastated. I would be lost because that completely robs you of your voice. It robs you of your identity and your thoughts. And And that's part of why we're trying to do this, because we cannot allow that lack of information happen, you know? Okay. So, Brenda, are you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm just I had to get up and do something, so I muted, but I am still here.
Okay. So, Tiffany and Cindy, if you could, um, tell us a little bit about the most unfortunate experience that you've had with Autism Speaks, and what have you done to kind of, react or speak out against them? Because I know both of you have before, beyond what we've already talked about. Okay, Tiffany, would you like to go first?
Well, I have honestly not really had any experience with them. In fact, I didn't really know much about them until Cindy told me about them and what they're about. I keep saying the word about. But um, I've heard the name Autism Speaks before, and I thought it was like some kind of like slogan or saying, but I didn't really know exactly, what they were. So fortunately, I haven't had any bad experiences with them yet, and hopefully I won't.
Mm-hmm. And Cindy just shared that her bad experience is that the problem with Autism Speaks and Terrible Allies is that they yell over autistic people with how hard it is to raise their autistic child, and share autistic people's embarrassing moments, like meltdowns on the internet without permission. And um, I've seen people post things like that and sit there and make fun of people for their meltdowns and stuff, and that is unacceptable. Like, I know there was this was a long time ago on YouTube, but there was this boy who, like, he would post videos of his little brother, like, having meltdowns, and everyone would think that he was just throwing a tantrum, and people were just bullying him and making fun of him, and my heart broke, because that is unacceptable. Like, bullying in any context is just entirely unacceptable. And Cindy just typed with regard to one of the bad interactions she's had with Autism Speaks regarding how oppressive they are. They tried to get her banned off Facebook for warning parents of how harmful they are. I actually remember when she went through that. That was really intense. Like, Autism Speaks will filter their comment section. And I think, if I remember correctly, they took down their rating feature because a lot of people were rating them low because of, people coming out and speaking out against this stuff.
I remember,
So,
I remember what happened to Cindy. That upset me so much. And they look at us and they think that we're too sensitive, yet they won't listen to anyone who tries to call them out on, on their abuse and on everything that's wrong with them. And they think that we're too sensitive.
hmm exactly. And I don't understand how they expect to create awareness while at the same time subverting people in that way.
Silencing
So,
them.
and I think there needs to definitely be a change. And I feel like Autism Speaks would be more reputable if they actually did advocate for autistic people as opposed to simply speaking out against them. Like, if they actually had representation, if they used their money for good causes and not destructive causes, I feel like that would be much better, you know. Tiffany, do you think, and Cindy, do you think Autism Speaks, if they improved their practices, they could keep trying to advocate, or do you think that they should entirely stop what they're doing?
I think they need to stop what they're doing and then start all over again from the very beginning. They need to start over from scratch because they have done a lot of damage in the past, and they need to stop for a minute and think, what can we do to fix what we messed up, and how can we make things right, and then start over from scratch. That's what I would do.
hmm Okay, exactly. Brenda, are you going to say something?
Yeah, and I'm going to say something here. Autism actually is a spectrum of spirituality because a lot of us, and I'm going to say it this way, for me, I'm an empathic, so I pick up on a lot of energies and stuff like that. When we have autistic young people and older people, they pick up on those subtle energies as well, more so than, say, what I would do. And the vibrations of the energies that are out there really affect the dynamics of who we are, what we do, how we see them, how it affects us and stuff like that. So this is an opportunity to actually go in and say, okay, if this young person is doing this and feeling this, how does this span the rest of the individuals throughout the world? We could learn so much here, and while we're learning, we could also teach everyone else that, you know, the subtleties, the simple subtleties that we take advantage of that don't hurt us could actually be hurting others. And I can only go by example that I know from one of Deb's sons, and one of Deb's sons, and this is quite interesting to me, is when he was a baby, he had to touch his food with his feet before he could say, okay, I'm putting it in my mouth. That is totally amazing to me, because it had to touch the feet with that sensory touch before it actually would go into the mouth. And he was, from what I understand, he was very picky. He grew out of it to a certain extent, but yet that is being sensitive. Some people's hands are sensitive. Some people's necks are sensitive. You know, some people's feet, and so on and so forth. Those are all things that we need to really look into. Not experiment as in doing, you know, open surgery or whatever, but to sit down and talk to these young people and to figure out what it is that's really making them hurt. And I'm going to say it that way, because there is so much out there that we take advantage for, we don't understand, that's hurting these young people, and we're not doing anything about it. And this is really borders on the spectrum of spirituality. You know, being empathic, being telepathic. You know, noises affects people, and we don't get that. I've had an opportunity to get that, and I'll tell a little bit of a story here. And it was a wild way of figuring this out or finding this out. But I was up at some sort of what is called Farm Fest up in Johannesburg, Michigan. And it's where a bunch of people get together, and it's a whole weekend long. There is food, there's activities, there's music, there's, you know, I mean, tie-dye shirts and all the rest of that stuff. And I was working in the concession area. Well, I had this gentleman come around and say, hey, do you want a Rice Krispie treat? I'm like, sure, why not? Well, I didn't know that it was laced with some KP, something drug. And instead of taking a little piece, I took like the whole square like you normally purchase in a store, and it really affected me. I thought I was going to die. But during that process, I became very sensitive, very aware in my solar plex area, and every little sound, it didn't matter how small, it vibrated through my whole body. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I still have that ability, that if there is a loud voice or a loud bang, or even when I'm laying down and I'm trying to, you know, go to sleep, and there's something that just happens, my whole body will go blah, and it's like, oh my gosh. So that I do understand. In people that don't experience that, they have no clue. But that's not because of my fault. That's not because of Tiffany or Cindy's fault, but that is their fault, because they don't want to take the time to understand what it's all about, what it's like. So I know I seen something in there with Cindy here. Cindy says sensory issues are part of the autism and the what is it?
And accommodating.
Yep, and accounting for them makes an autistic person's life easier. And welcome to my life, Brenda. Yeah, it's just amazing, and you have to learn to deal with that. And it's not easy, because we have those loud voices, we have those loud noises and stuff like that that really do mess up our whole system. And if you want to go one step further with the sound, the United States government has been, the last several years, developing a weapon that has like sonar sight, and it shoots the ray at you, and it discombobulates all of your atoms within the body, and it can decapacitate you.
Oh, wow.
So so they're looking into this stuff, but they're doing it the wrong way. Instead of being helpful, they're trying to, stop people from living, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So
That not to mention people who do have these sensory experiences are completely ignored in lieu of these different things, unfortunately. Uh,
right.
and and I wish the government would help more with that type of thing. So hopefully with this type of awareness and then of course acceptance, this will become more of a reality for the autistic community. Another thing that Cindy mentioned here is regarding Autism Speaks is that they ignore autistic voices and actively try to silence us. They stand with parents who murder and abuse their autistic kids. And I
Yes.
have heard of stories where parents not wanting to deal with their autistic children have actually committed murder, which is unthinkable and unacceptable. And Autism Speaks needs to change from within and making us spectators to our own narratives. They need to stop making us spectators to our own narratives, which I completely agree with.
Yep.
Tiffany, did you have anything to add?
Well, I was just going to say that I remember reading about this one woman who used to work for Autism Speaks, who said right in front of her autistic child, her nonverbal autistic child, that she wanted to drive off a bridge with her, to just make things easier. But then she thought about how it would affect her neurotypical child. And she said that right in front of her nonverbal autistic child, thinking that they would not understand. But
Um,
nonverbal or verbal, I mean, we're going to understand. We're going to pick up on people who don't want us around and people who don't care about us. We can pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts, and we don't deserve it. We're people too.
Yeah. And a lot of people assume that autistic people aren't perceptive. I mean, which that comes all the way back to not doing research or anything like that. And I think if there is anything that people can do is research, learn, go take the extra step to inform yourself about the autistic identity. And in doing so, you'll learn more how to support autistic people and to not invalidate them.
Exactly. And I mean, I do understand that, it can be difficult, to understand us and to, have to raise us. But I mean, being a parent is difficult, you know, no matter what. I mean, 'cause that's why I decided that I didn't want to have kids because I knew I couldn't handle the stress.
Hmm.
But you still, when you're a parent, you have that responsibility to make your child feel loved and accepted the way they are and make life better for them. Because in turn, if you make life better for them and help them excel, you're making life better for yourself too, and you're bettering the relationship with them as well. It's going to pay off.
Hmm.
it's true.
Exactly. Cindy also adds over here that with regard to people who don't support autistic people and invalidate them, that they claim that we have no empathy, which is a lie. Never assume that an autistic person doesn't experience something unless they themselves tell you they don't feel it. And I know we're going to go over time here a little bit, but this really needs to be said. And I can honestly tell everyone, and this is to all of the people who invalidate autistic people, I would not be the person that I am today without people like Tiffany and Cindy, because they have given me a greater respect for my own ability to create. They've given me a greater respect for my own ability to express myself. And I really think that it is wrong for people to sit here and tell autistic people that they're wrong or that they can't control themselves or that they aren't empathic because they could not be more wrong. They are people too. They feel just like any other person does. And in fact, I would argue that they feel with more intensity and vibrance than most people do. And I really think that non-autistic people could learn from that, especially since we are in this culture where we're consistently trying to conceal our emotions and avoid things. maybe I think there's something valuable that we could learn from the autistic community. And Cindy says here that parents assume that their kids don't feel embarrassment and used to that to justify posting embarrassing videos and blog entries about their children. And and I think this comes back down to, again, researching. Like, parents, you need to research. It is your job to research and understand your children. You brought them into this world. Make an effort to understand them more effectively.
I can say that I am very easily embarrassed.
Mm-hmm. And with regard to Autism Speaks, if you like them on Facebook or if you donate to them or follow them, please research, because they are not helping the autistic community. And if anything, they are damaging it irreparably. So, any parting words before I do our final advertisement?
Well, what I was going to say is, do we have anything out there for organizations that can help, say, the parents and stuff like that to connect with, other than Autism Speaks? So if we do, this would be a great time and a great opportunity to get that information out to people. Say, okay, this is a reputable place. Let's go here. Let's send people here. So do we have that?
Yes, we do have that. Cindy actually just posted it in the comment section. The Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, and its URL is autisticadvocacy.org. It's an amazing site that puts autistic voices first, which is something that Autism Speaks should be doing but isn't doing. And also, well, their slogan is "Nothing about us without us," which I think is extremely powerful. Additionally, if you do want to follow Tiffany and Cindy, who are both activists within the autistic community, I would definitely suggest going to their YouTube channels. Tiffany Gray's channel is youtube.com/ it's Tiffany Gray Music, right?
YouTube.com/Tiffany Gray Singer, or you can go to YouTube and search Tiffany Gray Music. So.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Also, Cindy's YouTube is youtube.com/stream of awareness. She's also on Tumblr, butterflyinthewell.tumblr.com. And of course, I will have all of these links down in the comment section below. If you like our YouTube series here, you're more than welcome to like us on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com and type in Universal Journeys, you can find us there. And also, please subscribe to our channel and share our videos. We really hope to get this information out there, and we hope that we can teach people more effectively. And of course, Brenda, would you like to take us on out of here with our slogan?
You betcha. Don't forget, guys, I don't care, guys and gals, whatever you do, whatever you're going through, always, always follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. Follow your heart.
Cindy is stimming, Tiffany is smiling, I am happy, and Brenda is glowing right now. So thank you guys so much for being here. And Tiffany, Cindy, Brenda, you all did a wonderful job. So
we love you.
We love you. You guys have a good night, okay?
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, hugs.